Today you'll be able to write linear functions to solve word problems. The work is in IXL, grade 10, L11. Did you know if you bought 7 shares of Netflix at $105 a share when Netflix first started, today you would have over $30,000? Okay, for review, in order to solve word problems, we're going to be using the equation y equals mx plus b. So y is your answer, m is the rate of change, or the slope. X is the independent variable, and b is the y-intercept, or the starting number. So if we look at our first question, we're going to be using the formula y equals mx plus b. And then we have to decode the question to find which of the variables is the answer, which is the independent variable, which one is the starting variable, and which one's the slope. So when we look at the question, it says Mateo buys 2 postcards during each day of the holiday. So that means for every day he's going to buy 2 postcards. So the rate of change, or the slope, is 2. Then in the questions it says after 4 days of holidays. Now they could have picked any number of days. They could have said after 2 days of holidays, after 8 days of holidays, but they picked 4. So that's the independent variable. And then there's no starting value here because it doesn't say Mateo had any starting postcards when he started. So you could say that the starting value is 0. And what we want to find here is just the answer. So 2 times 8 is 16, and that's where we put our answer. So for Mateo, if he buys 2 postcards during each day of the holiday, sorry, I made a mistake. There were 4 days of holidays. Which means that he would have 8 postcards when he was finished his holidays. So he buys 2 postcards, and after 4 days of holidays, he would have 8 postcards altogether. Okay, let's look at another example. It says, Brianna already knew 13 appetizer recipes before starting culinary school. Culinary school is when you go to school to learn how to cook, be a chef. And we use the equation y equals mx plus b to solve this question. So we know b is the starting value. So when we read the question, it says Brianna already knew 13 appetizer recipes. That's the starting value for Brianna. And it says she will learn 5 new appetizer recipes during each week of school. So she can learn 5 new recipes for each week of school. After how many weeks of school will Brianna know 33? After how many weeks of school will Brianna know 33 recipes? Okay, now this is where we use our equation solving skills that we learned in the last lesson, the review we did from elementary school. So what we do is we take away 13 from both sides. So that gives us 20 equals 5x. And now to get x by itself, we divide both sides by 5. So we can see 4 equals x. So to answer the question, Brianna would go to culinary school for 4 weeks in order to know 33 culinary recipes. Okay, the next question is Latrell has already jarred 10 liters of jam. So jarring is when you put jam inside of jars. And jam is something you might put on your toast. It's kind of fruit mixed with sugar. And it says Latrell has already jarred 10 liters of jam and will jar an additional 2 liters of jam every day. Write an equation that shows the relationship between the days and the jam made. Okay, so we know the equation to be y equals mx plus B, but they're asking us to show the J first. So we're going to change Y to J. And the number of days would be replacing the X. So it says Latrell has already jarred 10 liters of jam, so that's the starting value, 10. And she's going to jar an additional 2 liters of jam every day. So that's the slope or the rate of change. So your equation is jam equals 2 jars of jam times the number of days plus 10 jars of jam that Latrell started with. Okay, the last example, the question says, Matt has already prepared 0.16 kilograms of dough, so we know that's going to be the starting value when we use the equation y equals mx plus b. And we'll continue prepping 1.06 kilograms of dough every hour. 1.06 kilograms of dough every hour. 1.06. How many hours did Matt work if he prepared 3.34 kilograms of dough? So that's your answer, 3.34. So we have to solve for here is how many hours did he work? Okay, so we have to solve this equation. First of all, we'll take away 0.16 from each side. So 4, 3.18 equals 1.06h. Okay, in order to get h by itself, we have to divide both sides by 1.06. So 3.18 divided by 1.06 is 3. So 3 equals h. So the answer is that Matt would have to work 3 hours. Okay. So your work for today is an IXL, grade 10, L11.